Jaxson Dart, 13 of 20 for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns for the New York Football Giants, who take down the Chargers. What you don't see on that stat sheet is the score of 100, Caroline Fenton, and that's the juice score, because juiced up is the only way to describe the Giants. Like we all talk about, rookie quarterbacks can't play against the Chargers. Harbaugh beats them all. Well, Dart never felt overwhelmed. And in a game where, unfortunately, it looks like he may have lost Malik Nabers for the year to an ACL issue, we will see how that plays out. But even with all of that, if you're a Giants fan, you walked away with a different level of energy, because Caroline, from the outset, from the minute he walked out of the tunnel, something was palpable. I don't know if it was the chain around the neck. I don't know what it is. Something about Jaxson Dart hit different the entire time, and I just sat there thinking, God, the Giants got one. It felt good watching him play.
It did feel different. I do think that there is value in just the overall feel surrounding a team. And early in that game, I thought this team has some electricity to it. It felt like, the defibrillators, that Jaxson Dart was the defibrillator for this team that just boom, and just like breathed life into this Giants team. And I thought, okay, that's wonderful. And I think that's a huge testament to the respect that locker room has for Jaxson Dart and what he's brought to this team. But let's see you actually go out in the field and execute. And I thought Jaxson Dart had a great start. He looked great through the air. He was able to add 50 plus yards on the ground. That it felt like Jaxson Dart was the spark plug, the energy, the efficiency, and really just the competency that this Giants team needed. That it felt like through the first 3 games with Russell Wilson, that it was a really solid team with Malik Nabers, making plays, with this defense, as nasty as this defense has looked. They were just a competent quarterback away from being able to piece games together. I'm not going to say a contender, but I would say they were a competent quarterback away from piecing together wins and being able to win football games the hard way. That's what we saw from Jaxson Dart yesterday. He was able to provide that for the Giants. He didn't need to do anything absolutely crazy. He didn't need to have absolute, pop off the paper type of stats. He just needed to go out there and execute and provide energy and hope for this team. He's provided hope, I think, for this fan base since the moment he got drafted. But he provided hope and energy to this team yesterday, and beating a Chargers team that has been absolutely, no pun intended, electric all season long, I think is proof of concept.
Well, and you know me, I like to see as much as possible. So it's one game. A lot of development to do. But
it's one
in
game.
That one game,
yes.
In one game, it was like can't miss TV. It just, there was an electricity on the sideline. There was a different level of energy from Daboll. I thought there was a different level of energy from the coaches as they were all slapping everybody walking by. Like, it just felt different. Now, that being said, the key moment in this game, other than the win, was obviously Malik Nabers going up for a catch, and looks like his knee didn't cooperate with him. And according to reports, they fear that it could be an ACL tear, which would take him out for the year. Caroline, of all the injuries we saw yesterday, I don't think any of those injuries was more substantial than watching Malik Nabers go down. Because now Jaxson Dart lost his cheat code. For a young quarterback that's got I could just throw up a 50-50 ball and we can go here. If you have a young quarterback, you want pieces around that can show you if that young quarterback can play. I think this is such a massive loss, because now the Giants don't have a true number one. Now it changes the way their entire offense is going to be attacked, which will change the development of Jaxson Dart, which could even change the way we perceive Brian Daboll's job security. So when I think about the ripple effects from an injury, we talk about the playoffs, we talk about, losing games. But when you start to think, okay, what we saw yesterday was an improbable win for the Giants. To do that again without Malik Nabers is going to be wildly difficult. And it's going to hinder, in my mind, the ability for Jaxson to simply develop, which then changes the way we view Daboll. You're talking about coaches possibly getting fired. You're talking about an entire rebuild. Like, all of these things can come from one injury. There were some big injuries yesterday. None has more consequence than Malik Nabers going down.
I hate this so much, not just because you hate to see any player go down with injury, not just because I'm a massive Malik Nabers fan, But when the Giants traded up to draft Jaxson Dart, the first thing that came out of my mouth in reaction to that pick was, man, Jaxson Dart and Malik Nabers is going to be electric. It is going to be such a fun connection to watch over the next few years. And, while I hope for the best for Malik Nabers, he is undergoing an MRI today to see the severity, but I think the fear is an ACL tear. If Jaxson Dart doesn't have Malik Nabers throughout the entirety of the rest of the season, that is a reliable pass catcher that you now lose. That's a guy that F it, Malik is out there somewhere kind of mentality that Jaxson Dart loses. That's a level of explosiveness that this offense loses. So not only do I think that can hinder the development of Jaxson Dart, I think you bring up a fair point of how does that change the way that we view Brian Daboll's job? Because I think Brian Daboll already had an incredibly thin margin for error going into this season. That Jaxson Dart felt like the life preserver that was thrown out to Brian Daboll. That was the one thing that could really save his job. That Giants fans and the Giants front office could hold on to say, okay, we are seeing development from this young quarterback, and we don't want to hinder or change or stop the development by making a coaching change. How much can Giants fans and the Giants front office, maybe take Jaxson Dart's performance throughout the rest of the season with a little bit of a grain of salt, understanding that his development might be hindered a little bit, not having a certified number one receiver in Malik Nabers. I mean, yes, that puts more pressure on Wan'Dale Robinson, that puts more pressure on Darius Slayton. I think Cam Scatterbo can be another spark plug for this offense, which I love. Now, NFL fans that didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to college football last year get to watch the magic that is Cam Scatterbo because he is so fun to watch. But how does this change the narrative, not just on Jaxson Dart's development, but how does this change the narrative on Brian Daboll's job security?
I will also remind you loudly and clearly the NFL does not give a damn about player health and safety. Cannot say it loud enough. They don't care. They'll show you that when they add extra games. They show you that in their actions, not their words. MetLife, Odell Beckham Jr., I mean this with the utmost love and respect. We take all the precautions in the world with everything else when it comes to player health and safety. Please, please, please get rid of the turf. MetLife's turf has caused more substantial knee injuries than you can count. It is ridiculous. The league is aware of it, and they do nothing about it. Every single year, we have some sort of a conversation about why this playing surface is flat out dangerous for every single player that plays on it. And the league doesn't force the Giants to do a damn thing. So the next time anybody tries to tell you that the NFL actually cares about players, let's remind ourselves that this is a fixable thing. Having real grass, it's an outdoor stadium. It is easy to have real grass. You know what's amazing? They play on real grass in Vegas and Arizona, where they have to actually have separate trays that they send out of the stadium to bring back in so that there's real grass for the players. If either the Jets or the Giants gave a damn about a single person that puts that jersey on, they would actually spend the money it takes, which isn't that substantial, to get grass. If you have billions of dollars to own an NFL team and you are too cheap to put grass in your stadium, shame on you and shame on the NFL for letting it happen. Every year it's a conversation.
I mean, you see it right there. That's just over the last 4 seasons and 4 games. Then look at the number of stars, superstars that have suffered season-ending injuries on that turf. And yes, it is an NFL problem because I do think that the onus is on the league to step in whenever there is such a dire problem like this is clearly and obviously a problem that you're seeing right there. But this also falls on ownership. Why should the NFL have to step in and tell them what to do when it is so clear and so obvious what they have to do? Shouldn't the onus be on ownership when they see the Jets season in 2023 get completely derailed because of Aaron Rodgers' Achilles injury? When Malik Nabers, your bright young star, a certified superstar in the league, when he goes, knock on wood, I hope it's not for the season, but all signs point toward losing him for the season because of this ACL tear, presumably, allegedly, probably, we'll see, possibly. It's an ownership issue. Ownership should be able to observe and step in and invest in player health and safety because it's not just visiting players. It's now players of your own team, superstars on your own team. That's an ownership issue.
You're right. I just think the league should step in since every single player that steps on that field is at risk. I think the NFL should step in and simply ban artificial turf in any way, shape, or form from being in any practice facility or on any field that they play on moving forward. Just eliminate it altogether so that nobody is at risk. That was posted by A.J. Brown after Philadelphia went to 4-0 by way of beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So what do we know? We know that A.J. Brown is either reading a really interesting book this year or he's in his feels. Now, the Eagles went 4-0, but here's the context. Caroline Fenton, Jason Fitz on Yahoo Sports Daily. Caroline, the Eagles offense put up 33 yards total in the second half, and they were 0 for 8 throwing the football. They did not complete a single pass in the second half. They are 4-0. They are undefeated, and they did that without A.J. Brown making a single play of consequence in the second half. And he's obviously in his feels, but I guess, like, what do you want? Your team's 4-0. You're the defending Super Bowl champions. You're 4-0, and you're not happy?
Yeah, I think that this is the perfect example of that one tweet that always goes viral whenever a wide receiver tweets something like this. And it's like, oh, here's how a quarterback tweets, like, great team win, everybody, go team. And a receiver tweets like, my enemy speaks slow and carries. And there it is. There it is. It's like, that is exactly what A.J. Brown is tweeting out, these cryptic but also not very cryptic tweets that are kind of airing out a little bit of the dirty laundry. But this is nothing new with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown takes to Twitter or takes to the media every time that he feels like he is being slighted. If it's not him reading a book on the sidelines whenever he doesn't get targeted enough, it's tweeting something out like this. And this has been something that he's been kind of notorious for in the entirety of his career. It goes back to when I covered him in Nashville when he was with the Tennessee Titans. Every opportunity that he had to speak his mind, he would do it in a cryptic tweet like this. But to your point, yes, your team is 4-0. Your team just won the Super Bowl. And even though the Eagles aren't winning games in the prettiest of ways, just like they didn't win in the prettiest of ways against the Bucs on Sunday, they're still winning football games. And it seems like the best key and the best version of this Eagles offense is by running the football, whether it's with Saquon, whether it's with Jalen Hurts, if it's, quick, short passes in the passing game. Like, that's how this team is winning games. So how upset can A.J. Brown really be? I understand if you're not getting the football and you're losing football games, that breeds a lot of frustration. And I would 100% understand that. But you are winning games. Your team is still very much so a Super Bowl contender. And oh yeah, by the way, have you looked to see who the Eagles' leading receiver is in the season so far? It's A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is the leading receiver on this football team. They just don't throw the ball enough, Fitz. They don't throw the ball a lot. And that's okay, because they're winning football games. Winning undoes a whole lot of ugly.
You got your money. You got your massive contract. You got your ring. And your team is 4-0. Like, what is it that's going to keep you happy? And at some point, I guess, don't you, if you're A.J. Brown, look at some of the superstars that play in this league right now. They would give anything just to win, just to have that feeling. Like, we talk every week about what's going through Myles Garrett's mind as a pass rusher, what's going through Max Crosby's mind as a pass rusher on teams that just suck, right? So A.J. Brown is sitting here on a team that is undefeated, that beat another undefeated team in Tampa Bay that's coming off a big win. And you make it about you? Like, at this point, you make it about the fact that you're going to go away silently? Is that what you're telling everybody? Because we're certainly not, that's not on brand for how you do anything, A.J. Brown. And I don't understand it. And frankly, if I'm the Eagles, I truly do not care. I'm talking about every player in the locker room, every coach, every person in the organization. If A.J. wants to come out and complain, I'll laugh at him. You got your money, you're getting a ring, and you're doing what we need you to do in this offense. So we as a team are living up to our end of the deal because we are utilizing what we need to utilize to win, and you are a piece of that. And we paid you handsomely to be a piece of that. And you are not here to be all of that. So for A.J. Brown, as much as he may want to go anywhere, I don't give a damn if I'm Philadelphia. If he comes in and says, trade me if you're not going to use me, I would laugh in his face and say, go back to work. Like, this is just impossible to me to think that you could be sitting here at 4-0 and you're having to justify what your wide receiver is playing. This is asinine.
It's silly and it's juvenile. I think the way that A.J. Brown handles any of his frustrations. if you have an actual legitimate issue with what's going on offensively, have the conversation with your coaching staff. But again, the coaching staff, I think, has every right to laugh in his face and say, get back to work because we are playing a winning brand of football. And I'm sorry if that's not good enough for you. But I think taking to Twitter, it's not just AJ. I think any player or any coach that takes to social media to air out their grievances is immature and is a distraction. You bring up a trade. I think that we can have the conversation of, is AJ Brown a locker room problem all day long? At this point, I don't think that he is. I think that his antics have now do not, supersede the winning. I don't think that his antics can really shift the culture in the locker room. If they start losing, maybe we'll see. I don't see the Eagles going on an epic and catastrophic losing streak so much so that it would become a big time culture problem in the locker room. But you bring up a trade. I don't think the Eagles are going to trade AJ Brown. Why should they? But if I'm the Patriots, if I'm Mike Vrabel, I look at a young quarterback in Drake May that could be aided by veteran leadership around him, or at least a veteran presence around him, could absolutely be better with one of the best receivers in the NFL. That's what I think AJ Brown is. And Mike Vrabel and AJ Brown have a wonderful relationship. I mean, Mike Vrabel even talked about how much appreciation he has for AJ, how much respect he has for AJ. AJ's like a son to Mike Vrabel. You add AJ Brown to that Patriots team, all of a sudden, I think it is much more lethal. I think Drake May becomes that much better of a quarterback. And AJ Brown loves Mike Vrabel. I would at least pick up the phone. If I'm the Eagles, I'm not doing it. I laugh into the phone, I hang up. But I would at least kick the tires if AJ Brown is so unhappy in Philadelphia. Would you like to be reunited with your former head coach from Tennessee?
Look, and if I'm the Eagles,
It's
I
worth
want
a
a
shot.
mountain of draft picks. I want a mountain of draft picks. I don't need players. My roster's really good right now. Maybe a second corner would be nice to pick up. But I want a mountain of draft picks because I got Howie Roseman. So those draft picks are worth more to me than they are to most. I look, what about, give me this one. What about the Giants calling and say, hey, we gave you Saquon. Like, maybe get back with us. Like, we gave you Saquon. Like, we let Saquon go there. Not that simple, but like, Saquon's there. Throw us a bone. It would never happen within the same division, but I love the idea of the Giants at least calling Joe Shane being like, hey, man, you guys watched the show. I watched the show. Like, I kind of look like an idiot for letting Saquon go. Maybe throw me a bone here. Okay, it's never going to happen. What about like a team like 49ers? Maybe a team
But
that's
it
in
would
their
make
Super
sense
Bowl
with the
window.
Giants, though. They just lost more than likely from the last that I have seen. More than likely, Malik Nabers is done for the season. If he did, in fact, tear his ACL, which I think was the concern of many. Jaxson Dart needs a certified number one receiver. That's not what Wan'Dale Robinson can be. It would literally never happen. But I see the gears turning, Fitzy.
Do you another team? Is there anybody else on your mind that you think Super Bowl contender that might be out there wants AJ?
The Niners are interesting. That would never happen. But with the Niners being as injury ridden as they are, I mean, you add an AJ Brown, he kind of replaces the Deebo Samuel type of role that you had on that team. Would
Look,
never happen. It's fun to kick
like
the tires, though.
I like the Niners. I'll raise you the Chiefs. Again, Eagles are never going to make a trade with the Chiefs, but I like the idea of sending them to Kansas City, being like, hey, now you have Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and A.J. Brown. Like, now, all right, now the Chiefs all of a sudden are right back to the Chiefs dynasty. I will point out for everybody that doesn't know logistically, according to overthecap.com, the dead cap hit right now, if they traded A.J. Brown, would be about $60 million. The Eagles only have about $13 million. So before anybody gets too excited about the possibility, there is no cap space. I don't think that they can figure out how to make this trade even if they wanted to. And also, I don't think it's going anywhere. This is just A.J. Brown's version of pitching a fit in the middle of the mall because you want a snack and your mom doesn't want to buy you one. He's just out there, man, until the Eagles give him what he wants, which is more touches. In the meantime, all the Eagles should care about is getting more wins.